Good evening, everyone. This is Ron. It is Monday, February 24th already, a little after 6 p.m. So, see if we, last couple of days, we were talking about communing with the ancestors. We were talking about the ancestors. We're talking about what are libations and the importance of it, the energy from it. And so that's where we were with that. See if we have any questions about anything else. Uh, that or anything else that may have gotten your attention. Excuse
Hey,
me.
Ron, this is Charles.
Hey, Charles, how
Can
we doing, man?
can can your ancestors come into your dreams or come into your sleep and talk to you or let you know something, let you know things is gonna be happening before you know?
Charles, I'm in a learning phase with this as well, but my answer to that is absolutely. I would think so. I think and this is my opinion. You guys correct me if you see I'm in error here. I think anytime you dream about someone who has transitioned to you or dreaming about the ancestors, I think on yesterday, one of the things we talked about was uh, your family or people that you're familiar with.
Excuse me.
Yes. Some of the people you dream about people who have transitioned that you are familiar with, that may just be a doorway, into that world, giving you opportunity to see a message or to see something or to communicate. So, yeah, I would say absolutely, Charles.
Okay. All right.
Anybody else care to fill in some more details on that for me? For Charles, rather.
Uh, what, what was the question, Ron? I just got in the car. I got to go help your money with something.
Okay. Charles, ask your question again, please.
Question I asked, can the ancestors visit you in your sleep, in your dreams, and warn you against things, give you shed light on things that here is here to come, like future.
Um, all of the above, Charles. And like Ron said, um, they are a doorway because you're familiar with them. For you to hear at your sleep, is
You breaking up, real.
my
You
only
breaking up. Start
ancestor.
over again.
Okay, how am I doing now?
You're clear.
More clear.
Okay, I'm, I'm saying that there's no such thing as my ancestors in my bloodline. Our ancestors are any African who's transitioned. And the reason so is because all of us have the same bloodline from the same entity. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Hello,
Yes, it makes sense.
Yes.
Ron?
Well,
Okay.
that would be the
All right.
same as seeing them even in the daylight, right?
Say,
I mean, the daytime person. You understand what
I
I'm
didn't
saying?
hear you.
I said that would be the
Uh-uh.
same as like seeing them like in a spiritual. Well, let me explain what I'm saying. One night when I came from the jail, it's been a few years ago. When I came from the jail and I was laying in the bed watching TV, and this lady appeared by the TV, and it was a white lady, and she just stood there, and she was just looking at me, and I looked at her and I said, "Who are you?" But she never said anything, and I kept looking. I said, "What do you want?" And she still didn't say anything. And then in a few minutes, it come in my spirit that she had a connection with one of the young ladies that was in jail. And the young lady had said that he had given her life to Christ. So would that be the same thing as what y'all saying? I mean, we could ask them.
If you saw her, they had a connection to that person in jail. It was a message. What it was, I don't know, because you didn't say what it was. However, what you received, did you receive anything from it?
Yeah, you must didn't hear me. It came in my spirit that he was thanking me. He was
I heard
thanking
that
me.
part.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what the message was. She was thanking me for ministering to that young lady, and that young lady gave her life over to the Lord. She accepted Christ in her life. So that was the message that the lady came. And when I got to the jail, I asked the young lady, I said, do you know somebody? And I described what the lady had on, and she said, that was my mother. She said, how do you know her? I said, I don't. And she said, well, where did you see her? Because my mother's deceased. And I said, she came in, appeared, her spirit appeared in my bedroom. And she said, well, what did she say? I said, she thanked me. And she just started crying. She said, that was my mother. And she came to thank me.
So that, okay. That's the same thing.
Okay.
Came to thank you for that.
Okay.
Any other questions you have, Rob?
No, sir. That was Charles opened us up this evening with his first question. I wanted to see if anybody else had a question. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question if we're ready for another one.
Pastor?
Hello, this is Kathy.
Hey,
Can y'all
Kathy.
hear me?
Sure.
Hey.
Oh,
yeah,
when
go
the
ahead.
scriptures speak of, when the scriptures speak of, we have a great cloud of witnesses. Is that referencing the ancestors? And then somewhere in Revelations, the scripture speaks of that there are souls waiting under the altar for us to do our part, to do what we're supposed to do. My question is two parts. Are the great cloud of witnesses that the scripture references, are those the ancestors that it's referencing, and those that are, quote, under the altar? What altar and who are they? Who are those souls?
Okay. The cloud of witnesses, right? Because it says C-L-O-U-D, the cloud of witnesses. Witness, and that was translated from the Greek. The witness in the Greek is martyr. So we're speaking to those who have died, who are transitioned. And the idea of the ancestors watching over us in terms of seeing everything that we do, I don't believe that it happens that way. I believe, I think I said it a couple of days ago, that I believe that is the energy force or the life force that they are picking up or speaking to us through the life force, through spirituality, as opposed to seeing us in a physical way. But now, the ones beneath the altar, when it speaks about being beneath the altar, what is the altar? The altar is a place of sacrifice. So when it says beneath the altar, again, it's speaking to those who have transitioned before us. So anywhere you find that in the scriptures, whether it be altar or whether it be witnessing, you're talking about a place of transition. I mean, you're talking about people who have transitioned. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does so far. Is there more explanation?
So all I'm saying is that No, as far as no, not really, because I think the whole idea of the cloud of witnesses has been misinterpreted because um, and they are waiting for us to do what they are. They have transitioned, and they are waiting for us to embrace who they are. And once we do that, we become more cognizant of their presence in our lives. Now, don't get me wrong; they're always present there, but this gives us. When you begin to embrace that, you begin to open up to that, then you begin to see through in a different way the necessity and and relying on uh, the ancestors to guide us through this celestial ball called Earth. Any more questions about that?
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
I
Thank
guess
you.
I guess I just wondered why cloud. What's a cloud? Uh, I was trying to find that in
Um,
Hebrew.
well,
Does
the
it
reason I
mean
think it's cloud,
mobility?
Ron,
Uh-huh.
I think I have not looked up that word cloud.
Yeah,
However,
yeah, I was
to
trying to.
me, the word
Uh,
cloud means spiritual
okay.
because it a cloud flows. So plus it also is indicative, I do believe, of the numerous ancestors who were there.
That makes
Can you
sense.
see that?
Yeah.
I have a question then with that. Does cloud not also elevation or ascension?
Say again.
I
Does
said,
cloud what?
does cloud represent ascension or either elevation?
Ascension. Because they have ascended to a place that's not below. And this is not about
Okay.
geography or physical direction. When it talks about that, as above, so is below, it's speaking of awareness and not a location. So when it talks about the cloud uh, that be above, that means the awareness is sharper, that they see more. That's all. Make sense, Evan?
Well, you kind of like was breaking up, and I didn't fully hear what you were saying.
I said that the clouds, when it talks about ascension, the ancestors have ascended to a place of awareness where we are not, meaning that they are keenly aware of their surroundings as well as ours. And and it's not talking about a direction like up in the sky, down on the ground. It's talking about the awareness of who you are and the and who you were created to be, as well as uh, the opportunities that we have to elevate our awareness, so that we are able to prepare the earth for becoming as it is above, and that means that the earth being spiritual, just as it is spirituality is above. All again rather, is about awareness as opposed to direction. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Just see here that
Are there any?
I'm looking
Go ahead, Ron.
in the Old Testament when God followed them in a cloud. It talks about the presence of God, and it talks about spiritual insight uh,
Okay.
and enlightenment. So I'm just trying to pull that all together as to what, what we're
Well,
talking about.
if
Yeah,
it's the answer, it means that they are enlightened. They're in a place of enlightenment, and that's the place from which we draw all of our enlightenment, right?
yeah,
So when we talk about awareness, we also talk about enlightenment as well. However,
yes.
I'm curious as to how it's translated in the Old Testament, the word cloud. In the New Testament, I'm curious as to how it is translated. Because sometimes when we look at these words, what we see is that the same word is translated 4 or 5 different ways. And that in
Yeah.
itself lends to confusion. So that's why I was curious. That's all. I know Ron probably looking it up. Someone is, or someone
Well,
is. Go ahead.
I'm looking at it from the scripture that I mentioned to you, uh, Hebrews 60:51, and it's talking about used to describe natural phenomena, divine manifestation, and symbols of the God's presence and guidance.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it's the same
sign
thing.
of divine intervention, intervening. Let me make sure I say
Okay,
that right. As a metaphor for mystery and what is unknown.
okay. So we on the right road in terms
Yeah.
of the New Testament and the Old Testament.
So
Are there any other questions?
I had a question that's changing the subject, if that's okay.
Sure.
It seemed like I remember. I can't remember who spoke about her. J.D. Vance's wife. She seems very interesting to me, and I don't want to know politically, but spiritually, what do you see with her and her presence in the midst of all of this going on right now? Uh, he is,
I,
some of the things I read about her and about him and their courtship and whatnot, he really pursued her heavy. It just seems, is that an odd couple or is it me? Is there something I'm not seeing there, or I just think she seems to be different than all the other people that are surrounding this energy that they're putting forth. Anybody?
J.D. Vance.
Yeah,
J.D. Vance is not the man she married. J.D. Vance became the way he is when Peter Thiel paid for his election to the Senate when the Republicans approached him. If you read about J.D. Vance, he couldn't stand Trump. He thought Trump was the dumbest man on earth and racist. However, money changed all of that. Money brought out what he really was. I'll put it that way. Now, as far as the wife is concerned, I don't know that much about her. However, uh, I I do believe, and this is me, in my opinion, I don't see how she could stay with anyone as racist as he is unless she has capitulated, just as what's his name, Patel has, or the Proud Boys leader, just as he has. Forgetting that she's a color as well, and so are their children.
yeah,
And that's not unheard of, as you
yeah.
know.
It's not unheard of. It seems like everything I've read about people speak very highly of her and talk about what a good person she is and how helpful she is and how sharing she is and her kindness and how smart she is. We know she's intelligent and some of the
She's brilliant.
positions. Yeah. Um, I just don't see the two of them together, as you say, though, unless she has kind of flipped the switch and gone the other way. But
Uh, well, time will tell. But I don't see, I don't know what the spiritual connection would be at all.
yeah,
And the reason I say that is because uh, she's not spoken publicly about anything. However, I do remember during the female priest at the Episcopal Church in D.C. when she was speaking directly to Donald Trump.
yes,
J.D. Vance had frowns and was looking around like, "Will you shut up?" But his wife was almost like on the edge of her seat. If you,
you're really cutting
she
out.
is not. Her expression, I said, look at her face. Her expression is totally
Yeah,
different, right?
uh-huh.
Than what the other expressions are. So, I'm sorry, I'm cutting out.
I know you're on the road. That's part of it, I guess. Um,
Can I
yeah,
add something, Ron?
yeah, of
Just
course.
from my observation. Because I've thought a lot about her. I know that she clerked for Roberts, who's on the Supreme Court. And from what I read about her, she is extremely bright. And I've watched her
Uh-huh.
because I've watched him demean her and his own children and the things that he says. And I've watched her when they're out in public. To me, there's an aura of sadness about her.
Okay.
And I think she's feeling trapped right now. And so being a woman, I can't imagine that she doesn't have a plan. But right now she's between a rock and a hard place because he is the vice president of the United States and he's hooked up with these crazy people. And she's got to not only think about herself, but she's got to think about her children.
Yeah.
But, you know, from her body language to me and from the way she carries herself, she is sad. She just looks very sad, but she doesn't look defeated. So I think that's somebody to watch in the coming months.
Yeah. The other thing I forgot to add, her name means dawn, a new light, a new day, and a new beginning. And I thought that was interesting.
Uh,
And that might, as
uh,
you were saying, that might be something that comes to light more later.
Ron, let me see the whole thing from the spiritual perspective, right?
Yes.
Um, White people are woke, are waking up, and what they're waking up to is the reality of what we've known forever and a day.
Mm-hmm.
That wealthy people don't care anything about anybody except their wealth. They're waking up to that because of the way things have shaken out so far. The other part of that is not only are they awakening, but what's happening is no one could have done it but Elon Musk. No one. If it had been someone who was elected, they would get the benefit of the doubt, meaning that they would say he has that authority because he's elected. Plus, what this does, it shows them that people with money can do anything that they want to do. Elon has not been elected. Elon is not a civil servant. Elon is not bound by any laws whatsoever.
He's not even
And
a citizen.
all the laws that have been broken, he has not been held accountable for any of them. So I'm saying that this is what is awakening white people to the understanding that I voted against my own interests. And when they're speaking out because of the way they feel about the way they voted, that's what they are saying. I voted against my own interests. If this had been done by a governmental uh, person, a person in government, it would not have the effect that it's having right now. And it had to be done by someone who is arrogant and filthy rich. And so I do not believe that when this thing um, explodes, I do not believe that that will be them against us like it was. Of course, there would be some outliers there, but the overwhelming majority would be more sensitive to the plight of the people because they have suffered. They are suffering too. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah, it does to me. Any questions, y'all?
It's what
Makes sense to me.
Couple.
I see it
so.
in all the gatherings, all the public hearings
Yeah.
and town halls, and I'm just excited because I see the people coming together. I do. And the more radical he is, um, the more quickly it's gonna happen. And it's gonna happen so quickly that nobody's gonna be able to get ready for it. But it's coming, it's happening. The
Well,
people are up in arms, and it's not us in the front lines.
well,
It's
we will
not us
never
in the
be in
front
front.
line.
That's not going to happen. That's never going to happen. Not with this. The I'm gonna make a prediction.
Hmm.
I told you it would not last as long as we thought it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make a prediction. He been there 30 something days. With in that third month of his presidency, before the fourth month in his presidency is gonna collapse. The whole thing is gonna cave in on him because he's ultimately going to be held responsible for everything that Elon Musk is doing. And he is not telling Musk to do that. Musk is doing it on his own, and he cannot challenge him because I do believe that Musk has a copy of the tapes that Putin has. And that's the only reason he would allow someone like that to overshadow him without terminating him.
Yeah, that's the part that surprised me is how much power he's given him. Uh, it's as egotistical as Trump is to give somebody else that much authority and that much ink.
And I'm sure you know this.
Say it again, Pastor.
To get elected, Musk has been all over Europe trying to get right wings elected in order to create dictatorships in European countries. Well, um, the right wing won in Germany as Chancellor of Germany, and he said that the first thing that he's going to do is put Germany in a position where they don't need the United States anymore. He said, I never thought that I would be saying this, but it's obvious that Trump and the US cares nothing about Europe, and it's time for us to stand on our own 2 feet. Now, this is the thing. With him having said that, what we are seeing is a breakdown of the colonialists, the imperialists. We're seeing a breakdown in that coalition that's called NATO, or that coalition of manipulation that's called the United Nations. We're seeing a breakdown in that because a breakdown in America and stability in Europe does not change the foundational structure of the systemic racism worldwide. It has to it has to impact all of the European countries in a detrimental way. I'm done. I hope you can see that. If not, please ask me questions.
All question I'm gonna ask. I remember you told me, well, you told us, we can't stop this hate stuff. It had to be the UMPN to do it.
Yes, we didn't start it, and it's not on us to try to end racism because we did not institute racism. We have never been racist. So that's their little baby that they got to deal with. And now the chickens are coming home to roost. Just to quote Malcolm X.
Anyone else? Questions or
Ron,
comments? Yes, sir.
I'm going to ask
Question there.
if there.
Someone had a question. I didn't pick up. Is that you, S?
Oh, yeah. I was just gonna question, kind of a statement question. With everything breaking down, what are we anticipating, or the direction of replacing what's here? Someone told me today that they're worried and this person's really not, spiritual, or, really never had a deep conversation with her, but just a co-worker. But the fear is they see what's going on as far as the breakdown, and some of the stuff needs to be torn down, but the fear is the people that are in place, what are they going to replace it with? And so my thoughts and energy go towards really having the right system that's going to replace the broken one we're in now. What are your thoughts on that as far as the replacement of what we're seeing torn down now?
That is a response that's only going to come from the universe. We did not have a clue as to how this thing was going to play out in terms of dismantling the foundation of this racist system worldwide. However, we see now how it's happening. Our goal has always been the same thing, to bring balance and harmony to humanity. So as far as a system designed by individuals, if those systems are designed by the individuals who are in power now, you're going to get the same thing all over again, but they will be more entrenched. So that's not going to happen. So what is it going to be replaced with? Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard. System in place that was not oppressive was during the Kushite kingdom. So we don't know what it's going to look like. However, I embrace whatever it looks like because I know beyond a doubt that it is being orchestrated by the creator who was not created. That's the best answer I can give, S.
S?
Yeah, I'm here. I was just, because, sometimes in my mind, are we responsible for shaping what's coming? And I guess that you kind of answered that question. But it's really we just need to be balanced.
Yes.
And provide that balance.
See, one of the issues is that Um, every time there has been a movement towards a desire for what we call equality, it was always orchestrated by men, and it always failed. So stepping back and realizing who we are and how clouded our thinking is, we have to defer to the ancestors for guidance and to our Creator for devising a system or bringing it's already devised for bringing into existence and through manifestation a system that is inclusive of all humanity, regardless of their origin. I'm done.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Thank y'all.
I guess I kind of changed the subject on this a little bit. Is everybody comfortable what we talked about with the ancestors and libations and knowing what that is, knowing how to use it, knowing the power of it, and not that you necessarily need to know how to explain it, but do you understand it enough to see the importance of it
And to be comfortable with it.
and be comfortable with it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
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 Yeah, because I look at where we are now, where the world is primarily, not just the US, and who and what we are and our actions are very important right now. So,
Our spiritual actions or it not or our spiritual action is the glue that's holding people together to keep them from being in total despair. When you really think about it, there has not been a time when something of this magnitude has taken place, meaning the attacks from governmental services and the displacement of workers when we as a people were not out there in those streets. However, the restraint to us from being in the street has come from what we put in the macro. If we were in the streets, we would become a scapegoat, and they would use us as a distraction to keep white people in line. But this time, it's not happening.
yeah.
I have a question, Pastor Jeff, if you're finished.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I noticed none of the Black political leaders are coming out speaking against anything. It's like they done ran in their little hole and they're afraid to come out. Is that supposed to happen, or what's going on with them?
Yes.
Why we don't see any of them speaking out or anything like that?
Well, you hear Al Sharpton on his radio TV program speaking out, but it doesn't matter. The most notable one to me is Rashida Tlaib, the Palestinian representative from Detroit, who railed against anyone of Palestinian origin voting for Kamala Harris. She was a proponent in organizing people against voting for Harris because of what Biden had done. Now, when you say running their hole, She ran in her hole and covered it up. You don't hear nothing from her now. But pre-election, she was everywhere, everywhere. So now she got somebody packing the dirt down on the hole she ran in. What's she gonna say? The
Okay.
Palestinians said, do not, the Palestinians who were suffering said, support Kamala Harris. And she said, Kamala Harris is no different than Biden. And look what they got. So anyway, all of those people who were mouthpieces against Harris have hidden themselves now. Every one of them.
Well, Reverend Barber, William Barber is speaking out. There are certain members of the AME Zion Church that are speaking out. Oh, they're growing some legs because one of the reasons why you have young people who stepped away from the church is they don't see the relevance and they don't see the church practicing what it preaches. So you got some members, some pastors who are beginning to speak up and speak out. What I have not
Well, see,
heard,
but
what I have not heard is people talking about how in our communities we are going to get together so that we can be self-sustaining. I have not heard our people talking about establishing a relationship with the farmers so that no matter what is going on with the local farmers, so that no matter what is happening everywhere else, we can continue to live. And so, that means taking that money that you would spend in the store and having like subscriptions to local farmers so that they can get their stuff planted and then knowing that somebody's going to be on the other end to receive it. I mean, there are things that we need to be talking about that they're not talking about. And so I've been pushing folks. I don't know what ultimately they're going to do, but you can't sit back and do nothing. And you can't just sit back and
Cheryl,
pretend it's not happening. Yes.
let me interject something here, please, if
Okay.
I may.
Sure.
Had planned a poor folks march long before the election. He's been doing this for 2 years. It has not come to fruition yet. However, it was supposed to be pulled together this summer. I don't see that happening now in the way that he had planned it. The other thing is, we cannot become self-sufficient in that we as a black community are going to take care of ourselves and nobody else. The reason that the creator allowed um, uh, 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 Greenwood District in Tulsa and the district in Florida and North Carolina to be burned to the ground is because that was not the answer. The answer is not running into our own communities, taking care of ourselves while we have the same vicious race barbarian on the outside of that community waiting to burn it down. The purpose of what we are dealing with now is for hearts to be changed, is for mindsets to be altered, is for spirituality to be the order of the day. And politics is secondary to what we are supposed to be doing, especially as Africans in this nation. Our purpose in the earth brought humanity into existence, and that humanity who has come into existence has existed aside from us because of European mindsets, because of that barbaric nature. Now it is time for the African to take the space that was created for the African. And that space is introducing humanity to spirituality as opposed to greed, introducing humanity to spirituality as opposed to religion, introducing to spirituality rather than politics. The whole idea of a nation is to take care of its people, not to take care of one segment of the people, but all of the people. Therefore, we as Africans are obligated to usher in a system that we don't know what it's going to look like, but a system that is going to be supportive and be a source of nurturing for everyone, inclusive of people like Trump. So I don't see us doing that because when back in the day when Colonel Hassan came to us, he was talking about us joining forces to get a plebiscite established in this country. Well, that didn't happen. So all the things that we have tried got to happen because we were isolated from everyone else. And if we were not isolated, we were assimilated with the very people, the mindset that is foreign to ours. So now it is different. It's not about integration. It's not about assimilation. It's about alteration, altering the thought pattern, altering the mindset so that humanity can see each other as human and not as a Japanese or Chinese or an African or European, but see each other as human. This whole thing of race was brought into existence in 1700 for the express purpose of dividing people of black folk, particularly from everyone else, and treating us like we are subhuman. That's where race came from. And if we are separating ourselves into isolations, and what we are doing is falling prey to that mindset of our races being separated from each other when the African has never seen humans as in a race. The African has only seen human as people, period, as opposed to racial divisions. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Hey, Pastor.
Uh-huh.
As you were talking, I was seeing Joseph in this whole situation, and what I mean by that, you remember his brother and stuff, put him down the well, cause he was all had a dream telling them that he's gonna be over them, whatever, and when they did put him down the well, they messed his jacket up with some blood and took it to his father, so his father thought he was dead.
Yep.
And when he got sold into Egypt, and make a long story short, when he told the king what was going to happen, it's going to be a 7-year famine, and then he put him in charge to hold the grain in this building. And he didn't do it just for his people. His people was, he helped his people, but he helped everybody else in that nation. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, you don't lost me.
Yeah.
Hello?
I haven't lost you.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm asking you what was the question. That's all.
See, the question is,
I heard.
we can't be for ourselves, like you're saying, even though it's us, but it's more bigger than us. We supposed to be, but we have to be like Joseph. It's got to be for everyone. It just can't be for yourself. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Instead of him,
Yeah, I understand.
when he brought his family in, okay.
Yep, I do.
And that's all I was saying, was that right there.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Any
Ron,
other questions? Yes, sir. Any other questions or
any
comments?
other question? Right, because I reached my destination. That's all.
Are we done then?
Pastor and Ron,
Is there-
I just had a thought.
Okay.
This is Jackie. I had a thought earlier, and I wanted to text one of you guys, but I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get on this evening. But I don't know. I had a thought about everything that's going on with Elon Musk and Trump and all that stuff. And for some reason, I don't know. I just had a thought, and it came to me that it's going to take feminine energy to stand up. And I'm not sure where it's coming from, but that thought occurred to me, and I just wanted to share that. You care to?
Elaborate?
Yeah, but it came to me earlier today.
Well, that's a reality.
And
That is a reality because nothing can be birthed unless it comes from a womb. And until the system or until the is birthed by a womb, nothing will change. So it's in the process of changing now. So that means that the spiritual mother, the really the cosmic mother, is pregnant and ready for deliverance. Does that make sense, Jackie?
so, Pastor, are you saying the African mother?
Yeah.
Or
I'm not talking about
Okay.
anybody physical.
okay,
I'm talking about
right.
the spiritual nature of it. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yes,
Makes
that
sense?
makes sense. Thank you.
Okay.
It
Mhm.
does. Thank you. Mhm.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
You wanted to mention something about the 28th, Pastor?
Oh, yes. I just wanted to remind everyone about the 28th is the day that we're not shopping for anything. We're boycotting everything. And there are other dates that we are going to be giving to you later on that have been put out there. But I actually encourage all of you to make this statement. And it's not a difficult statement to make, but it is one to send a message. And the message that this statement can send is the number of people who are frustrated enough to walk away from those wealthy people who have bought into not only DEI, but have acquiesced to everything that Elon Musk desires to happen. Not Trump, but Elon Musk, because Trump does not have any power to change anything. Okay?
Okay.
Pastor,
Jackie? Uh-huh.
Yes.
Is that
Okay.
okay?
Okay.
Someone say, Pastor?
Audrey, I've got some dates that a friend of mine sent to me.
They're probably the same ones I have. Go ahead,
Yeah.
dear.
Yeah, probably. So the 28th is the economic boycott, part 1. March 7th through 14th is Amazon boycott. March 21st to 28th is Nestle boycott. April 7th through the 14th is the Walmart boycott. Y'all gonna be in trouble. April 18th is the second part of the economic blackout. And then April 21st through 28th is the General Mills boycott. Anyway, I can repeat those at some point
Well, as we get to the
on
dates,
Saturday or whatever. Yeah.
as we get to the dates, we'll remind everyone what's coming. And because with this 28th, I feel like we had to remind everyone what's coming and what to be looking for in terms of changing how we shop and who we support. Okay. Because I
Pastor,
don't think any of us go remember all of these dates. Go ahead, someone else.
yeah, this is Linda. I was reading an article where, you know, a lot of people say that doing this wouldn't amount to anything. It's not going to hurt anything, but they should read the article on Target. Target has lost $15 billion just in the last month from everybody that stopped shopping at Target. So for the people that don't think that this will amount to anything, just read the article on Target.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Linda. Boycotts work. And, you know, some of us have experiences with boycotting, and we've seen results from it. They do work. But they have to, in order for them to be effective, all of us have to participate. Thank you.
A week-long boycott surely will work. I mean, you're going to feel that, you know?
Especially,
Amen.
especially for Walmart.
Yes, a
Easter.
week long. Oh my God.
They go jump off a building.
This is just an observation of mine, and you guys, if you hadn't noticed it, see if you I read a lot of odd stuff, I guess, but have you noticed that they're finding a lot of new things now, like new life in the oceans they've never seen before, or new stars or something out in space? I mean, maybe all that stuff was happening before and I never paid any attention, but it seems like now it's kind of revved up. I see that. I don't have an explanation, of course, but I see it as something positive.
I've seen a lot of that myself.
Yeah, I do. I see it. I see that as something positive. So, I mean, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Pastor.
Go ahead.
Nothing. I was going to dismiss if nobody else had anything.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay. Great discussion, guys. You guys remember your meditations and your energy, and thank you for your energy this evening. Hope you have a great week, and look forward to Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We'll see
Take
you on
care.
Saturday.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
See you
you.
soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Good evening.
Bye-bye.